Welcome to the Tea with Jade B. I am so excited you're here. I am so excited to be doing this podcast. I've been talking about doing this podcast since November. So it was time for me to shit or get off the pot. And now that we're here, I have no idea what the fuck is going to come out of my mouth because I'm on 150 milligrams of mushrooms, a shit ton of vitamins, some Celsius, and I had some expired pork dumplings last night. So who knows what's going to happen today, but I'm so excited you're here. I'm sure you guys are probably like,
another girl with another podcast. Great. What makes yours different, Jade? Give us a little elevator pitch on the Tea with Jade B.
Okay, what makes mine different is that mine is going to be good. And what is the Tea with Jade B? So I've been talking shit on the internet for about 3 years now, professionally. I mean, I've been talking shit on the internet since I logged on to MySpace the first time, but I've just kind of found this community through talking shit on the internet, and I'm tired of being stifled with this short form 1 minute content. Like, good shit talking needs to be enjoyed like a long European dinner. Like, I want to get into the details. I want to let the yapping take me where I need to go. I don't want to be confined by the short form content. I'm over short form content. It's literally ruined my brain. I cannot watch even my girls, the housewives, without reaching for my phone and wanting to scroll. So I wanted to take my shit talking from my TikTok, my Instagram stories, whatever. And I just wanted to have a place where we can just yap, long form yap. And the thing that I love the most about the internet is that I will say the most random niche thing. I'm like, oh my God, no one's going to know what I'm about to say, but I just need to get it out of my head and onto the internet. And then lo and behold, every single time it will find its people. You guys will you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to take that from my little TikToks and my little Instagram stories and put it on to a podcast. Now, there's another question in the room. Jade,
don't you have a podcast with your sisters called Your Poor Dad? I sure do.
And I think the difference between the Tea with Jade B and Your Poor Dad is if you fucking hate the Tea with Jade B, I have the perfect podcast for you. It's called Your Poor Dad. It's where me and my two sisters will check me. Everything you want to say to me, they're saying to me. So that's the perfect podcast for you. But in reality, Your Poor Dad is more of sister vibe. Is exactly what it feels like to sit down and have conversations. We're talking shit about our parents. We're talking shit about pop culture. We're talking shit about each other. It's just more of a sister vibe. This is more of shit talk, whatever I want to do vibe. This is what it's like being an older sister. I wanted more time to talk. So that's the Tea with Jade B. Because my sisters they're very old souls. They watch Survivor. They watch Seventh Heaven. My Gen Z sister does not even know what the fuck is going on TikTok. So I kind of needed a place where I can talk about my niche internet drama. Why is Wade Wilson, that guy that murdered those 2 girls in Florida, have a whole fan club? And now we found out that he's getting it up the tookus from a guy named Joey. That's what I want to talk about on the Tea with Jade B. Very niche internet stuff, pop culture stuff. I'm a huge Bravo girl. I love the housewives. Those are my girls. I'm actually an OG housewives fan. I am an early adopter. It's the only thing I've ever been an early adopter at. I wish I was an early adopter at Bitcoin, Tesla stock. Nope. I am an early adopter of Victoria Gumbelson. Okay. So we're definitely going to be talking a lot about Bravo. Another thing about me, don't give a fuck about Love Island. I have elite reality TV taste, and it's basically just Bravo. I can't be bothered with Love Island, but actually, we'll see. I might. I want to get into shit talking, gossiping, spilling the tea, if you will, because I feel like I am on this Instagram algorithm where I see these videos pop up. For some reason, I'm on this ultra Christian Instagram reel algorithm and I can't get off of it. And I actually love it because it's so fucking insane. Maddie Pruitt. Oh my God. Wild. And I keep getting served these videos that are
if someone tries to gossip with you, this is what you should do. 3 easy ways to shut it down.
I'm how the fuck did this get on my algorithm? But I feel these days, like gossiping, spilling the tea, talking shit has really like gone to like a dark and dirty place, Reddit. And I want to bring it back to the days of like our great grandmas, our grandmas, where they were just in the hair salon, just yapping away with the little heaters and their curlers in their hair. And it was just light, fluffy gossip. That's the kind of goss that I love. That's the kind of tea I like to ingest. If you are ingesting some sort of like gossip and it makes you feel icky, it's not the right tea. It's probably also not the right person to be gossiping with, to be honest. So I have some rules that I didn't even realize were rules until people started talking so much. Like they came up to me and they started talking shit with me. And I was like, that's not stuff that I want to talk about. You know? So here are kind of like my own personal shit talking rules. And this will be kind of like the lay of the land for the tea with Jade B. First of all, I get this from my friends all the time. They think, oh my gosh, Jade likes the goss. Let me give this to her. And they come to me and they tell me a story and I'm sitting there and I'm like, where the fuck is this story going? Literally, I don't know where is it going? Every good goss, every good story, this is like, honestly, storytelling 101, beginning, middle, end. That's what we need to see from you, okay? Beginning, middle, end. If there's no one in sight, I'm going to stop you there and say, where the fuck is this going? Like, where is the juice? I need the meat of the story and I need you to wrap it up in a pretty bow, you know? So all the tea spilling here should have beginning, middle, end. Or if you're just talking to me in general, beginning, middle, end. And I'm talking to my dad and my sister because they can never fucking land the plane. I'm like, where's the story going? I don't need to know what color his shoelaces were. I just need to know what he did to you, you know? Okay, rule number 2. I'm not touching kids. Like, no, I'm not like touching kids. Like here, let me rephrase that. We're not talking about your parenting. I don't care to discuss the way people parent their fucking kids. Okay. I think it's a little too real. It's a little too dark. I don't like it. It's what, and also I'm not a mom. I don't want to talk about it. It's so weird. I see these people and they like want to dissect the way people parent, they co-parent, they do this, they do that. I don't give a fuck about it. First of all, it's boring. Talking about kids is boring. Sorry. Second of all, what the fuck do you know about being a mom to that kid? You don't. So we're not going to talk about it. Sorry, I'm screaming. Are the levels too loud? Rule number 3, we are not going to discuss people's looks that they can't control. Okay, so that means, do you see the way I said that? We're not going to discuss people's looks that they can't control. Clothing choices. When did it become a crime? When did it become women hating women? When did it become women hating women to discuss what the fuck another girl is wearing? That is literally womanhood 101. It's light. It's fluffy. Who fucking cares if I don't like what Taylor Swift wears? You know, I love her music. I love that she takes me on a little Easter egg hunt, a little maze. But if I don't like that she wears a Willy Wonka style, like fucking blazer set, then that is not me being a woman hater. You know what I mean? Another caveat to this is we don't talk about another person's looks or what they have done unless we want to get that done as well, you know? So I'm looking at you, Kim Kardashian. I would love to know what the fuck you did to your face because you are stunning. You are frozen in time. I want that. I want that too. I'm not talking about it because I'm like envious or like, I don't like it. You're putting women back. I want to know what you've gotten done. Okay. So I'm not going to talk about that, like, you know, things that people can't control. Some tea that has come across my desk this week that I would like to talk about. Now, this is our first episode. This is coming out next week. So I should be coming to you August 28th. So last weekend, me and Mr. Roberts, my boyfriend, we were visiting his family in Chino Hills, California. Side note, me and Mr. Roberts grew up 15 minutes away from each other in California and we met in Austin. Isn't that so cute? And I was just scrolling on my little TikTok and this video came across my desk and it was of this girl and she was talking shit. So I just got comfy. I was like, okay, let's see what she's got. She starts talking about how, when did Austin get so fit and vapid? And women are talking, or not women, girls are talking about Denata marks or something like that. And I was like, wait, I know exactly who she's talking about. And I like that girl. And she's never done anything to anyone. She stays in her own fucking lane. Why are you picking a fight with this girl? And basically this girl's video was like, why are we making people famous that have nothing to fucking say? And I'm like, hello, are you looking in the mirror at yourself? And so I go to her page because her main gripe was like, this girl was recommending Denata marks. They're so strong, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows that. And who fucking cares that she's recommending Denata marks? I go to the girl who's talking shit's profile.
She's like, come along with me to brunch at Uptown Sports Club.
I'm like, what the fuck is the difference between Denata and Uptown Sports Club? Nothing. It's not like you are like going deep and dirty into the underbelly of Austin to find all the like hidden gem food spots. So why are you throwing rocks in a glass fucking house? So I am like, about to start my period. The tension, the premenstrual tension is running high in my brain. And I am like, I've got to get out this shit. So I'm in Aries moon. There's a lot of fire. My entire chart is fire and air. And when and I'm an oldest sister. So when I feel like protective of someone, I'm hot. I'm like up. So I make this video and I'm just like going at this girl. And then she responds,
hey, yeah, so I didn't mean it like that. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm like, if you are going to talk shit, I need you to say it with your chest. Everyone in my comments was like trying to like find the holes in my thing. I'm like, no, I'm not fucking backing down for you TikTok commenters anymore. What is the point of that? Like, if you're going to talk shit, say it with your fucking chest, or like be like, hey, sorry, I was wrong. Oh my God, like that was pretty stupid. But that's not what she did. But yeah, so I'm in a fight with that girl and I have no intention of backing down because also people in the comments,
I wish Austin creators would just get along.
We do. I don't know where the fuck she came from because everyone else does. Okay, Blake Lively, I have seen more Blake Lively in the last couple weeks than I have ever cared to see in my life. I am not a Blake Lively stan. I'm also not a Blake Lively hater, but it is just like the way the internet loves to dogpile on somebody is just like, it makes me want to be on Blake Lively's side. I'm like, okay, leave this bitch alone. Like, what did she fucking do? What did Justin Baldoni do? That's what I want to know, because it seems like a lot of people are on Blake's side and not on Justin's side. And now the internet's like, oh no, Justin's a really good guy. He loves women, but Blake hates women. And that's my problem. It's like, oh, we're just giving Justin the benefit of the doubt, but Blake, she fucking hates women because she was a bitch in a bunch of interviews. And let's be honest, like if you cut up a bunch of my meanest or like most misunderstood moments on the internet and compiled them into a video, first of all, it would be fucking hilarious. Second of all, I would look like a huge bitch, and so would you, because everyone's had a bad day, everyone's had a bad moment. No one's putting together a compilation of like all the times Blake Lively's done something good for somebody. Have you? No, you're not doing that. It's boring. I hate the dogpiling on the internet. Everyone is regurgitating the same thing that they see in comment sections.
Oh, Blake Lively's in her J-Lo era. Blake Lively's in her J-Lo era.
Where'd you see that comment on? User 17234, she said that first. How about that? Also, I caught up on Real Housewives of Orange County last night, and I'm so obsessed with this season. Tamra, let's get into Tamra. So Tamra's from Glendora, California, which is actually where I was born and raised. And it's so interesting to me to see Tamra. Like, Tamra is so San Gabriel Valley. So San Gabriel Valley is like the valley east of LA, the San Fernando Valley, the valley, that's like that's where all like the pop culture references are from. This is like more like Pasadena side. So another Bravo celebrity that's from San Gabriel Valley is Sheena Shea. She's from Azusa. It's the town right next door to Glendora. So it's like, it's got a vibe, and it's like not trashy. So the fact that Tamra is so obsessed with Big Bear checks out. Big Bear is very Lake Havasu adjacent. And when I say that, like and I grew up going to Lake Havasu and Big Bear, so I can speak on this. It is like a little trashy. It's not like a chic, bougie mountain town. It's not giving Aspen. It's not giving Vail. It's giving like the rednecks that live in the hills, you know? Like I grew up going to Big Bear, but one trip I went with some friends, and we're at this bar drinking, and this local, the Big Bear locals, on another level. She comes up to us and she goes, "You Flatlanders, what are you doing here? Flatlanders, this is a local bar." And I was like, holy fucking shit, I'm scared of you. But it checks out. Like, Tamra rides Harleys up, what's that fucking road, that windy ass road in Orange County? I forget, to go to like Pikes Peak or whatever. Is that what it's called? I forget. But she rides Harleys. She goes to Big Bear. It's very adjacent. Like, it's giving what I'm ensuing. You know what I mean? She just has like the darkest energy. The fact that Tamra's like always on the wrong side of history for me. Like, the fact that she's like best friends with Alexis Bellino, it's just giving like she has these ulterior motives to kind of like rip someone down, and she's always siding with somebody who's going to like do her dirty work, her dirty bidding. It's giving Lisa Vanderpump without the finesse, without the like joie de vivre, without the like the class. And it's so transparent to me. Like, she wants to take Shannon down. Now, we know Shannon got a DUI. She was driving on the peninsula. I know exactly where she fucking hit her car into the house with the golden retriever. Little too close to home for me, as I have a golden retriever. But if she truly believes that Shannon has a drinking problem, that she's an alcoholic, then why the fuck are you being so goddamn mean to her? Why don't you remove her from your life? Or just don't fucking talk to her. Instead, you don't talk to an alcoholic by being like, "Oh yeah, you fucking alcoholic. You alcoholic." It just makes her look like so bad. And going right into that, Alexis Bellino, who knew that would be the best thing for Shannon Beador, seeing Alexis Bellino on our screens this season. I thought that this was going to be, I was going to be so team Alexis, that Shannon was going to be such a nightmare to watch. I hate when Shannon's in her poor me era, but I've been so like, I love Shannon. I've always loved watching Shannon, but I am on Shannon's side. I think Alexis Bellino came in so hot, so mean. She has this like chip on her shoulder from dating John Jansen. Okay. I lived in Newport Beach for 10 years. There are so many old rich guys who actually have money and who would love to date a big titted Jesus jugs like Alexis Bellino. And I don't know why she needs to go for John Jansen, AKA Johnny J. And where does John Jansen get his money from? They're like, he works in insurance. Oh, so he works in insurance so he can afford a $13,000 ring from Van Cleef? It's just not adding up for me. Also, at this point in filming, I'm assuming they're like in January/February. Alexis Bellino said that they met in November. So at this point, they've only known each other for 3 months now. And she is like going to war for this man. She is acting like she knows more about Shannon and John's relationship and what went down in that relationship than Shannon. And that would piss me the fuck off if I was Shannon. Shannon is showing such restraint. You can tell she's over the relationship. She just wants to move forward in her life. And Alexis keeps bringing her back into that moment that she has no idea what the fuck happened. And also in a toxic relationship, which it seems like Shannon and John were very toxic together, you don't know what that person did. Like, you don't know what John did too. So I don't know. Alexis is just giving me like icky vibes. She's always been like somebody that like I've never really been on her side, but I like love to hate watch. Oh my God. Also, this trope, this is such an Orange County, Real Housewives of Orange County trope, is the women love talking about how much sex they have. I don't want to hear how much sex anyone is having. It's like, it's so awkward. And when people are like, "Oh yeah, we did it 5 times in one day." No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. And if you did, keep it to yourself. Like, it's so weird when people like brag about their, like, why are you telling me? Like, what is the point of you sharing that information of how much you've had sex with your partner? I don't need to know it. Or are you trying to get me like, are you trying to sell me on it? No? Okay, so don't fucking tell me. And then she's drawing the line at like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about how big his dick is." It's like, okay, but you already talked about like everything else. It's gross. I really like Jen. Her money problems are very triggering to me. I'm like, okay, this is scary. Like the thought of having like a $12,000 rent that you can't pay is so like, it makes me itchy and rashy. And I just also think that Gina's going in a little too hard on her. Like, I just don't believe that this relationship was so severed. Maybe it is. I think Jen is like one of the most sound minds on this entire season. Well, besides Heather Dubrow. And I just like think I would really get along with her. And I really like her. And she's really, really pretty. And she's like nice to look at. And lastly, Heather Dubrow. I love Heather Dubrow. She is one of the best housewives I think we've ever seen because A, she's aspirational. B, she is so good at articulating her feelings. And that is what I cannot stand when a housewife cannot articulate themselves and they cannot defend themselves or they can't like do a mic drop moment. And Heather Dubrow has given us so many mic drop moments. When everyone says you're dead, it's time to lie down. I think that was to Alexis Molino. And I love watching her as a mom. Like I could just watch her just in her family. I love the way she supports her kids. Her kids are like LGBTQIA, and the way she has discussions with them where she's asking them, learning more, supporting them. It's so like comforting, and it's such good television to watch. Like that's what I like to see when the housewives do these like one-off moments. Like when Tamra does the one-off moments, I don't really enjoy watching it. And it's not because her kids aren't there. Like I think she thinks that she would be a more well-rounded like version of a housewife if her kids were there. But like I don't even like watching her and Eddie together. Like she's just like there to stir shit up and then that's it. But I love Heather. Also, last night I was watching and I did take like an early bird gummy. So I was like kind of high, but I was like, is she giving Taylor Swift? Like Heather and Taylor are kind of Sims. Oh my God. Okay. Last thing I'll say about pop culture things. I just got done rewatching Real Housewives of DC. And my God, if you've never watched that show or if you haven't watched it since it aired, I highly recommend going in for a rewatch. It is so good. It is probably one of the best first season franchises I've ever seen of any housewife ever. I forgot how good it was. Mikhail.
So like, well, me and Tarek, we our budget for our house is either $100,000 or $12 million.
The real estate agent sitting there looking at them like, what the fuck did you just say? It is just such good. Like it has everything you want from housewives. It has affluence. It has lies. It has the added addition. Okay. Since they're in DC, politics play such a big part of it. And this is the season where Mikhail and Tarek go in and crash the state dinner. And watching them try to defend that. They defended it like to their grave. It is fascinating. It is like, it is a master class in gaslighting, watching Mikhail and Tarek. You have to watch it. Then I need you to listen to the podcast, Sexy Unique Podcast. They're doing a whole series rewatching DC too, which is like why I started rewatching it. I'm obsessed with them. They're so fucking funny. If you are a Bravo watcher, I highly recommend listening to them. It started out as like a Vanderpump Rules, like, I don't know, what do we call it? What is the word? Guess watch podcast or whatever. And it's so good. Okay. So here's the thing about me. I have always been the nosiest person ever, which is kind of why I started this podcast. I've always loved history. I've always loved knowing things. I just like to know things. So I asked on my Instagram, the community, I asked them to ask me like the nosiest fucking questions and you guys delivered. Okay, here's a good one. There's a lot of questions about my boyfriend, Mr. Roberts. So this one says, tea on your boyfriend. How did you meet? How long it took to move in, etc. Okay, I actually want to have Mr. Roberts on the podcast. I asked him last night and he said yes, but we'll see if he really does it. But so Mr. Roberts and I met March 2022. We met on an app. We actually met on 2 apps and we matched together. And the second I met him, I was like, this is the coolest person I've ever met in my life. Like I'm obsessed with him. I hung on every word he said. He just was like, the easiest person for me to be around. It just felt like it fit. And I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, like, what if this doesn't work out? Like me, first date, I'm like, oh my God, like I need this person in my life. What if it doesn't work out? And I also was like second guessing myself because I'm like, wait, I just met this person. Am I off on the vibes? Like, did he feel this too? And then it just like, we kept hanging out. And I will say, maybe if he comes on the podcast, we can talk about it. Our relationship was very slow to start. Like, but it was by design, and it felt like, I mean, trust me, I wanted to rush into it so much. Like I just like was so obsessed with him, but I am so glad we took it so slow because we really had intentional get to know each other times. And like, that was probably more on him because I'm like a Libra, I'm an air sign. I like go with my feelings, and he's a Virgo. He goes on like facts and data. He's an earth sign. So he's like very grounded. And so I remember him being like, we keep going out to places where we're having drinks. This is like our 4th or 5th date. He's like, I want to go somewhere where we're not like drinking, and I want to like really get to know each other and see if we're compatible that way. So we really made like a big effort to have like well-rounded dates where we weren't just like drinking or having like I don't know, like we really had to get to know each other. And it took us a while to be official. So, and that was also something that was hard for me because you hear so much online of like,
if he wanted to, he would. The 3-month rule, this rule, that rule. This is how you do this.
I fucking hate that shit. And I'm like, I kept having to like ground myself in the relationship and say, okay, is this serving me? What are my actual boundaries with this? Like, what do I want? And so obviously everything worked out for the best. And I am so proud of our relationship. It is like the best thing in my life. He's the best person ever. Like I want to gush about him because I'm just like, I'm so in love with him. And it took us, so I guess 2.5 years to move in since we like met each other, which I think is fine. And it did get in my head because I would have people asking me, when are you guys moving in together? When are you guys doing this? When are you doing that? Are you going to freeze your ex? Are you going to freeze your ex? How about that? And I'd be like, I don't fucking know. Do you flush your tampons? No. You shouldn't flush your tampons unless you're at like a hotel or like a hotel. This is your weirdest guilty pleasure. I don't think my guilty pleasures are weird. My biggest guilty pleasure is ordering a fuck ton of takeout. I call this a secret dinner. I order like a smorgasbord. How do you say that? I want to like graze. I want like a lot of food that I can just like nibble at throughout the night. Like I don't want to just like eat my food and then be done with it. I want to like take my time with it. And then I have like 3 or 4 Housewives episodes that I know I want to catch up on. And I just graze for hours and hours and hours. And it's usually I order Taco Bell. And it's like the perfect thing ever. Like I love that. Being alone, being absolutely alone in a clean house with like a glass of wine or some like really, really good cocktail and just like dating yourself, having like the candles going. Oh, I love that so much. I did that on Sunday night because Mr. Roberts was out of town. It was magnificent. Okay, where are you from? IDK, how I even found you, but you're real AF. Thanks, girl. I came from, okay, people are confused about where I'm from. I was born and raised in Glendora, California. It is, like I told you before, east of LA. I lived there until my sophomore year of high school, which I moved. Then we all moved to DFW, Texas, because my mom's entire family is from Texas. Her dad's side, her mom's side, we grew up going to Texas on our summer vacations, and our great grandparents owned a farm. So we grew up like around like cows and goats, and it was just so much fun because it was so different than where we grew up in California. And finally, my sophomore year of high school, or like going into my sophomore year, my mom said, "We're moving to Texas, honey." And I was like on the ground, like, no. But yeah, so I was like, I'm a California girl. You cannot move me to Texas. Like, this is like my people, blah, blah, blah. My mom's like, you're fucking coming with us. So we moved to DFW. Honestly, it was probably for the best because it really taught me so much as a human being. Like, if you've never left your hometown, you need to. It will put hair on your chest, especially DFW. I was a Texas high school cheerleader. Let me tell you something. Those girls, being in a sport in Texas in like their high schools, it is probably the biggest make or break of a person. Like, I truly, it like put hair on my chest having to find my way with these women. And I remember like them coming to school and they'd be like in heels. It was just so different than growing up in California where it's so much more casual. Everything was different. We didn't have a dress code in California. In Texas, of course, everything was about the dress code. Every single day it was discussing the dress code. We had off-campus lunch in California. In Texas, it was like a jail. The entire school was in one big building. In California, our classrooms pointed outside. In Texas, it was literally like a jail to me. Everything was different. But it did make me want to go out of state for college. And so I got a scholarship. I ended up going to Purdue, and it was the most random thing ever. I was like, I'm going back to California. I'm going to Cal State Long Beach. That's just what I'm going to do. And my mom's like, well, you got this scholarship to Purdue. Maybe you should try it out. And I'm like, okay, I'll go and visit, but I'm probably not going to end up going there. I went and visited, and I was like, this is exactly what college looks like to me. So I'm going to go to Purdue. Okay. I'm smart now. And all my classmates were like, what the fuck? How did you get into Purdue? And I was like, I have honestly no idea. But TBH, it wasn't that hard to get in back in the day. But it was the best decision ever. It was the best 4.5 years of my life. I loved it. I really felt like Purdue was like exactly where I needed to be. It was like the perfect size for me. It was a huge school. There's like 38,000 students. They had a really big Greek system, but it wasn't as like toxic as like a Southern Greek system. Like, it really just like it just made the school like a little smaller so you could find your people. I immediately was the social chair of my pledge class. I was like having us do like pledge parties with like all the other fraternities. I fucking thrived at Purdue. Now, academically, not so much. I still made a 3.0 because I'm a really good networker, and I'm really good at like getting what I need by not doing much. So I thank you to my friends. Shout out to Michaela Giliazza. I love you. You're probably, and Brett Damish. You two are the reason why I graduated from Purdue University. So thank you so much, because I cheated off you the entire 4.5 years we were there. But yeah, I made the best friends ever. And then right after I graduated college, I went back to California. And then, I ended up in Austin because I got dumped by a guy. And so that's like a whole other story. This is an interesting one. Do you think 69 position is overrated? No. I thought you were a Swiftie. I'm not, but I don't know why I thought you were. I am a Swiftie now. I am a new Swiftie since the Red release. I actually got dumped in this toxic situationship, and I have never been more heartbroken in my life, which is funny because I got divorced. And so the fact that this situationship tore me down, we should do like a whole episode on divorce, because by the way, I am divorced. And I think that I have this like theory that most girls who go through a young divorce have like an immediate toxic relationship right after that divorce. And that's what happened to me. It was a 2.5 year on and off again situationship. And he completely just like whittled me down to like a version of myself I didn't know. And it was around the time, like, I was like, my confidence was coming back. I was like crawling out of the hole that I dug for myself, and the Red re-release came out. And my sister Paige is like the most OG Taylor Swift fan ever. Like, I'm talking debut, like one of the first people to ever tell me about Taylor Swift. She's like truly an early adopter of Taylor Swift. And I would just rag on her. I'm like, what is this music? This is the dumbest shit ever. Cut to the Red re-release. I'm sobbing listening to All Too Well 10-minute version. And so I think if you don't like Taylor Swift, you either don't have taste in music or you've never had your heart ripped out through your asshole. So I highly recommend listening to Red, especially her, the vault songs for that. Better Man, Babe. Oh, so good. Nothing New. That's just like a little too real for somebody who's aging like myself. I'm about to be 36 next month. And so, yeah, I am a Swiftie. I went to Era's tour twice. I went Arlington Night 2, Supremacy. She played Death by a Thousand Cuts and Clean. And we were at SoFi on August 9th, 8/9, when she announced 1989. By the way, who was so surprised that she did not announce re-release? That was insane. I was like literally had my eyes glued to those like grainy fucking like TikTok lives. And when she did not release Rep, I was really upset. There's a lot of questions for Mr. Roberts. I think we just need to get him on here because that's like a whole other thing in itself. We could go through breakups. I'm like the tea on breakups. Oh my God, honey. The lives I've lived from age 25 to 35. It's been a roller coaster. Tell Mr. Roberts to please get the spicy truffle mayo at Whole Foods Memphis. He said that there was, because I asked him that question. There should be the spicy mayo. It should be in the mayo aisle. Last thing, does your boyfriend really work for Truff? Does he really work for Truff? Now that is a trick question. I guess he does work for Truff because he owns Truff and he's one of the founders. So yeah, he does work for Truff. Okay, well, I think, oh my God, I feel so much better just like spilling the tea. I am so happy you guys are here. Please do me a solid and share this episode with somebody that loves spilling the tea as much as you do. Feel free to give me all the suggestions. I'm an older sister. I'm used to like, being, having constructive criticism from my younger siblings. So any way I can improve this podcast, I want it to be the best ever for you guys. I want to just like have fun talking shit, spilling the tea every single week. Send me things you want me to talk about and rate, review on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, do all the things and follow me at It's Me Jade B on TikTok and Instagram. And I think that's also my name on YouTube too. So subscribe on YouTube too, because I want to get one of those plaques one day. So thank you so much. I cannot believe this is my first episode. I feel like I did kind of good. This is my very first solo episode ever. So next time we're going to have a guest though to talk shit. Get lit with your favorite people on the internet. TJB. All right. Bye.